Hello, and welcome to another ornithological episode of We Only Look Thin. I am your she-host, Catherine Weigel, and I have lost over 150 pounds.
Holy cow, I am your he-host, Donald Weigel, and I have lost a little over 100 pounds. And ornithological?
Caw-caw!
What the heck is that?
You're going to be hearing a lot of squawking of birds today.
You know, we don't take kindly to your fancy college words around these parts.
We are going to talk today about canaries and coal mines. That's right. We are the only...
Oh, ornithological, like with birds.
Yeah, what is the study of coal? Do we know what the study of coal is?
Colithological?
Colithological, an ornithological and colithological episode.
I don't know why you couldn't have just said it's a birdie-filled episode.
A birdie-filled? Bye-bye, birdie.
It's, we're going to tweet about it.
Oh, boy. No
Oh
wonder
my
our daughter
goodness.
rolls her eyes every time we talk.
No. These are the A+ jokes right here.
This is as good as it gets, and you are experiencing it. So it is November, and in the U.S. of A., that means the holidays are rolling around.
They're
not
are.
rolling around. Are they rolling around?
Yeah, they're rolling around. They're loose in your trunk because you forgot to secure them properly, and they're rolling around.
They are coming at us, and that means a lot of stretchy clothing and a lot of excuses. And but I guess we're going to talk about we're going to break this up into three parts.
Yeah.
We've got the tip of the day.
Tip of the week.
Tip of the week.
Towel.
I don't know what it's called.
Tip of the day, the Todd.
We don't have time for Tad.
No, listen, Tad.
Okay, we've got three parts for you.
Yeah.
We definitely know what they are. The first is the tip of the week. The second,
Towel.
we're going to talk about why birds are very important in this weight loss journey.
Yeah.
Caw-caw! And then
Wow.
we are going to talk about the product of the week.
Pow!
Pow! So let's start it off with topic one, which is the tip of the week.
Tip of the week to you, honey.
Tip of the week to you. So we're all very busy. We got lots of things going on. We've got no inbox.
We sure are. Buy, sell. That was me at work, being very important and busy.
When Donald looks at my my computer screen and he sees that I have 90,000 items on my desktop, I am filled with shame. So
I'm desktop icon shaming you.
He is, but our suggestion to you is to simplify your life by
Occam's razor. The simpler, the better.
By unsubscribing and unfollowing stressful, overwhelming, or unhelpful Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter feeds that bring you stress.
Yeah, if you've got a friend or a relative or an acquaintance who you're Facebook friends with, and that person makes you feel bad, how about unfriending them?
Or just unfollow.
Unfollow.
Like if you have someone who has a political difference or posts better than your life photos, and it's just stressing you out,
making you want to eat.
Just unfollow them for a while. Like you don't want to just. Donald says he has never actually unfriended anyone. Every once in a while, I just let it loose. I just start unfriending everybody. I've unfriended Donald a couple of times, and then I've had to refriend him. But unfollow unhelpful Instagram feeds. I love food. This is not a surprise to anybody.
Yeah, me too.
I had to stop following like Bon Appetit magazine. And
yeah, you're asking for trouble. That's like bringing the devil home with you, only it's just in picture form.
It is like, you don't think it's pornography. Like, to anybody, to the untrained eye, it's like, oh, those are delicious dishes. You don't see me licking my computer screen. It's not becoming. It's not healthy.
Yeah.
So I actually had to unfollow Smitten Kitchen. Delicious food. Nobody will contend that. But I had to stop looking at the Food Network website and the the Barefoot Contessa and all that stuff. Like, I had to unfollow them because it just leads me to impure thoughts.
Plus, being barefoot in the kitchen just isn't sanitary.
That's not sanitary.
No.
But unfollowing unhelpful websites or things that are
Things that might be triggery to you, like, maybe you don't want to look at the latest recipes for holiday treats all the time in your feed.
Yeah, or even someone in the health industry who is just stressing you out with too much information. Not like us, we give you the perfect amount of information.
The perfect amount.
Anybody that's just stressing you out. The holidays are coming. It's a stressful time. This is a time to simplify, to get back to basics. So unfollow and unsubscribe people who make you stressed out, or who make you think impure thoughts, or who make you feel like this whole...
Impure thoughts. We sound like some sort of tyrannical Puritan organization.
Like Gravy of the Day. I had to stop following them because
man.
Why is gravy so good?
Why is gravy so good?
Nobody knows.
No one knows. Science hasn't figured it out.
Anyway, so just unfollow people who stress you out, who make you feel less than, or who just clutter your mind with too much information. So make it simple, whether it's political, social, or foodological. Just drop it.
Yeah,
drop
that big unsubscribe button is your friend.
Yeah, or if you have like an app on your phone that's like Pizza Hut flavor of the day, like get free whatever nuggets when you click on the link. Like just don't. Just unfollow, unsubscribe.
Conversely, follow and subscribe to this podcast.
We usually wait. Yeah, not us. Not usually.
Yeah, no. We don't want to know. That unsubscribe button is not your friend when it comes to this podcast.
I don't think this episode went out, because certainly we're not getting any listeners.
We're losing followers
unlike us,
left and right, and we can't figure out why.
So that is the tip of the week. I have to do it sometimes, and it kind of actually falls into our topic 2. Which
that was your tip of the week.
Tip of the week.
Tip of the week to you.
To simplify. But this week we are going over to like I said, an ornithological topic.
We're going to talk about the canary in the coal mine.
What is a canary and what is a coal mine?
Well, legend has it that...
Legend. Is there a legend? Like, is anyone...
That back when coal mines didn't have very good ventilation systems, and for all I know, they still don't, they used to take a canary in a cage into the mine with the miners, and canaries are especially sensitive to butane and methane, according to the interweb. And as long as the canary was singing, the miners knew that their air was okay. But if the canary died, they knew to get the heck out of that mine.
The heck out.
And so, that's become a slogan over the years, a phrase over the years, which I don't know if any young people still say, but if it's a canary in a coal mine, it's a sign of danger, a sign of trouble, a sign that things may not be going well.
And this relates to weight loss, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
So we're gonna bum you out with with some canaries, some dead canary talk.
Yeah.
But something actually happened very recently. Unfortunately, Facebook, you can't hide on Facebook.
No.
And someone I know...
It's kind of the opposite of hiding.
...who is on a weight loss journey, who might or might not be in our accountability group... might or might not be friends with them on Facebook.
Might or might not be unsubscribing to this podcast right now.
As we speak.
Yeah.
So I was on Facebook, as I do, and I was scrolling along, minding my own business, when a post for a cheesy, gooey casserole, an easy dump-it-all casserole came up on my feed. And I noticed that it was posted by one of our accountability group members. And...
Yeah,
I was like,
canary in a coal mine, everyone.
Like, this casserole probably has 10,000 calories in it. And
did you get the recipe?
I would wager, no, I blocked it and I unfollowed it, just like my own tip. But it, and I think Donald used this word earlier today, I was very excited, it portended maybe some canary coal mine situation where this person was not participating in the group and had started going down the cheesy, gooey path. And I say that posting cheesy, delicious, gooey casserole recipes is a gateway to maybe that you're varying off or you're going off course.
Yeah, for you Harry Potter fans out there, it's like seeing a Grimm. Like... You see the grim and then you die. But in this case, you see the grim and then you know that perhaps your diet and exercise plan is about to go off the rails.
So we've all done it before. I have been candid about spending the first 41 years of my life seeing dead canaries everywhere and not really paying attention. Just
ignoring the flocks and flocks of dead canaries.
Yeah, kind of grim, but it happens. It happens to all of us on our weight loss journeys and adventures. And so today we're going to just sort of go through a bunch of ways that you might be able to check yourself before you wreck yourself this holiday season.
Yeah. As they say, as the kids all say these days.
They do. So what, Donald, what would you say, I mean, what in your experience have you seen that has been sort of a red flag? A red flag canary. Well,
one of the main things is not wanting to face the scale. And,
that's a big one.
Yeah, like, putting it away or just avoiding getting on it. Because when faced with the evidence that I was actually gaining weight, it would sort of force me to do something about it. So I just didn't get on the scale, and that way I wouldn't know.
Well, and I think too, we've talked before about measuring and tracking and why it's important to us. And I've talked about being an unreliable narrator to my own story. And I think if I can talk myself in or out of anything, and we've talked about the Gretchen Rubin loopholes that we use to justify our behavior. Like, oh, you know what? It's the holidays. The scale stresses me out, Donald. I'm just going to put the scale away. Like, I don't want to be a prisoner to it. And that sort of cycle of thought of justifying putting it away is where the danger comes in. Like, I'm going to weigh myself every week this holiday season. I'm not going to put the scale away until New Year, because once I take away that check and balance of what my habits are doing, like, that's where the danger comes in. So convincing yourself to stay away from the scale and putting it away, I have never been, and I know everyone is different, there's different sensitivities, but I've never been like, it's so weird, I put the scale away for a year and I'm down 30 pounds. That weird trick.
That does not happen.
It's always that, like, taking the medicine, like, oh, geez, I better get on the scale, like, and it never goes well. So putting your scale away is...
I really do think it's one of those things that helped me achieve my weight loss goal. Getting down that 100 pounds was promising myself that every single Saturday, and I have kept that promise with a very few exceptions when I've gone out of town, but then I'll just do it on a different day. Like, every single Saturday morning, I weigh myself, whether I want to or not, whether I've had a good week or a bad week, quote unquote, whether I've had a, healthful or unhealthful week. I make myself get on that scale every week, and it is a weekly wake-up call that I've got to keep doing this and keep doing it forever.
Well, and Donald also mentioned, and this has happened to me before too. I've talked about losing 100 pounds before and then for some reason gaining it all back.
No one knows why.
When you start not wearing your Fitbit, like, that is a huge sign. Like, you can actually see on my Fitbit chart, like, I got my Fitbit in 2015 or something like that, and I wore it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I wore it for 2 months, and then I got a cold, and then you can see it flatline, and then it just, like, I'm, like, tracking, and then it's, like, dead for a year. Guess what? I went up on the scale 25, 30 pounds. Like, I don't know how it happened.
It's a mystery to everyone.
So not wearing your Fitbit, not tracking your steps.
Trying to avoid the reality, trying to hide the evidence of what is actually happening. Another big thing, I think, is, starting to say things like, I'll start next week, or, January 1st, I'm really going to get it together. Right now, I just can't do it.
Well, and we are headed to a wedding next week, and we're going to be away for a few days. And, this whole season, Thanksgiving in the U.S. is coming up. We've got many holidays in December, and just saying to yourself, oh, well, this isn't a good time. Like, oh, it's crazy at work. It's tax season. It's Girl Scout cookie season. It's Little League season. Whatever.
Yeah, you've been trying. You've been sticking to a plan, but you're just saying to yourself, right now I just can't. I'll definitely do it. On XYZ date.
Yeah, that is just super dangerous. Again, we are unreliable narrators because, tomorrow never comes. It's always the next day. Another thing, and we've talked about this too, is when you stop measuring. When you just start, I'll eyeball. Like, what? I don't need to. I pretty much know what I'm eating. Like, I don't need the measuring spoons. I know. Sure, this peanut butter is heaping over onto the plate. I'm sure that's probably like a tablespoon. It'll be fine.
Yeah, for sure. And another big one is you've been on a plan, you've been solid, maybe you've lost 10, 20, 40, 50 pounds, and you start convincing yourself that you're invincible and that you can, I've got this. I can do what I want. You know what? If I decide to start eating ice cream regularly, actually I kind of do eat ice cream regularly, but if I start, I can go out and eat whatever I want and I'll be fine. I've got this.
Well, and part of that too is the like, you know what? I'm doing fine. Like, I'm just going to bring the jar of nacho cheese into the living room. Or like, I got a gallon of ice cream. I'll bring
the entire bag of Doritos in instead of just measuring out a little bit.
Well, and that happens. Like, when we buy the Halo Top, which I consider a single serving package. But that whole like, I'll just bring out the whole thing of mayo. Like, I'll figure it out when it gets to the table. It'll be fine. Or, the gallon of ice cream that suddenly, I'll just stop at half. I actually did that recently. I only had enough calories banked for half a pint of Halo Top. And I was like, I'll stop at half a pint. And then like the half, just one more. There's like one little bit of, it's not even on that side. I'm just going to have a little bit more. And I ended up eating the whole pint of Halo Top. And like, who am I kidding?
Yeah.
Like, come on, there's no such thing to me as half a pint of Halo Top.
There's no stopping once you start. And, just for those who don't know, as a side note, this is not actually the product of the week, but Halo Top is a reduced calorie ice cream that is really, really tasty. It's between 280 and 360 calories in an entire pint. And I don't want to send somebody down the path of eating like several pints in a day, but, even if I typically like set aside enough calories to eat a pint of Halo Top on a regular basis. And, the worst case scenario, I ate the whole thing and it's 360 calories, even if, and some of them are only 280. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's aside from the point.
Yeah. That's not the point, Donald. We're going to edit that out. But another big thing is, and I know we've talked about the fallacy of value. Well, there's 2 for $1 on the Entenmann's, or there was 2 for $1 on the Pizza Hut. Like, I can't afford not to get it. They gave me a free giant Pizookie with my, sandwich when I ordered at Panera the other day. Like, there is no such thing as a free cookie. Like, you are paying hardcore for that free value thing. And if you start like buying 2 for $1 things, I was at Costco recently and I was getting, there was some package that I was getting for an event and it was like, oh no, you have to buy 2 of these like things of pastries.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I only want 1. And they're like, well, you have to take 2. And I'm like, I will literally buy it and throw it in the garbage. And they're like, you have to take. And so I ended up not buying it. But I was like, I do not want 2 of these in my house. That is a total danger zone. So
similar to the food pushers in life too. It's a very similar thing. Like, it is okay to say no to people. Like, they may get upset, they may act upset, but convincing yourself that you're going to hurt other people's feelings if you don't take whatever food they're offering is another one of these canaries in a coal mine.
Well, and I'm going off topic. Who cares? You did it. I can do it too.
Whoa.
We had mentioned, because Thanksgiving is still on the way, the idea of, a food pusher and just being like, oh my gosh, I just brushed my teeth or I just had a mint, but I totally am going to have this later. and just take it and throw it in the trash. You're a grown-up. You can throw things in the trash.
Yeah, for sure.
So another big way that we find canaries in various coal mines is when you start skipping your normal activity. When your rebounder suddenly becomes a coat rack, when your treadmill starts becoming a place where you put Halloween decorations, when you stop going to the gym, when you stop going to yoga.
Yeah, it's like, you skip one time and you're like, oh, no big deal. But then it's like, oh, boy, I'm having a hard week. And you skip again and you skip again. And then before you know it, you're not going. You're not doing whatever it is you're doing. And I've skipped the gym for many years, but...
I don't go to the gym. That's how I avoid that.
Yeah, but we do plenty of our own exercise.
Well, but we used to... I mean, it gets down to a very frosty 50 degrees here in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
you can't go out walking in that kind of weather.
Not without a serious parka and some...
You can't do it. You get frostbite.
Yeah.
But we ended up... We stopped having an excuse, and we got rebounders, as we have mentioned on previous episodes. So now we can rebound in our very own home.
We can do it in or out, no matter what the weather is.
We are knocking down excuses.
Yeah, getting them out of the way.
Yeah, and when you start, this is the season of stretchy things, stretchy pants at events. When you start wearing stretchy clothes, and stop wearing belts. And start allowing yourself to wear very flowy garments.
Yeah,
that might be a sign.
Or you just avoid certain parts of your closet with the clothes that are a little form fitting.
This summer, thanks to my pancake palooza, I had a whole
pancake-a-palooza,
a whole neighborhood of my closet that was.
A whole neighborhood?
Well, I had this whole kind of area that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to wear that. There were definitely...
These are the clothes in your neighborhood.
The clothes that you avoid each day. Caw-caw!
Yeah. Caw-caw!
I had clothes that I could not wear. And I did the whole, well... Maybe they shrunk in the wash. And then, visions of pancakes were like, oh, no. I had very many pancakes. So watch out for the stretchy clothes. When you start avoiding things that are form-fitting, you know that there might be a problem.
Yeah, another one is that you avoid having your picture taken. Or you insist that all photos of you be from, the neck up, basically.
Well, and I spent 41 years doing that. I was going through some pictures the other day, and I even kind of remember telling someone, it was from a friend's wedding, 2004 in San Francisco, and it was definitely a shot of me from the bust up that I thought would... Now I wish I had a full length picture.
Yeah, I know. I keep looking for full body pictures of myself.
Boy, did I avoid
heavier.
the full length picture. So yeah, when you start trying to hide in pictures or going into the back of pictures, that is a big sign.
This is the portion of our program where things start to get real. Another big canary in a coal mine is when you start feeling sorry for yourself.
Oh boy.
When you start comparing yourself to others, when you start throwing up your hands and saying life just isn't fair.
Well, and when you start must be nicing other people. I think when you start making yourself a victim of too much work, too much obligation, spread too thin, so much of that is a choice that we make to be overwhelmed and taking on more than we can chew with volunteer opportunities or kid activities. We say that we don't have a choice in those, but I feel like it is an active choice to take on way more than you can manage. Yeah,
and it's a good excuse to lie to yourself and to eat your feelings. And, oh my goodness, I've just got all of this going on. The only way I can make myself feel better is to soothe myself with food.
Well, and two, that avoiding people when you have gained back a bit of weight and, maybe it's your hairstylist that you haven't seen in 2 months, or maybe it's a friend that you haven't caught up with, and you start feeling like you want to avoid seeing them because you're not your ideal weight, or you were trying to lose weight and then you stopped and you've regained. When you start hiding because of that, which I definitely did.
You resume secret eating, or you don't want to be seen eating, treats in front of other people. That's a real canary in a coal mine right there, that you're off the rails.
Yeah, and when and I've done this, when you start forgetting lunch or telling yourself, "Oh, I don't have time to make a healthy choice."
Oh man.
Like I keep
but they'll have plenty of food at work that I can just chow down on.
Yeah, like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." Like I bought a few lean cuisines recently just to keep in the freezer. I have bought many heads of lettuce. I have not had a salad in weeks or months. I don't even know. I feel like it is, I am helping the environment by adding to the compost pile. So I am keeping lean cuisines in the freezer so that I have something quick and easy to eat. If you work in an office, if you do a lot of driving, keep something extra in the freezer or in your glove box. I'm not saying keep lean cuisines in your glove box, but like when you sort of like,
unless you got a really fancy glove box,
it's like, you know what? Buy a $2.50 lean cuisine. Keep it in the freezer.
Yeah, there is no shame in having a calorie friendly frozen meal around to stop you from going bananas at work with the bagels and the free pizza or what have you. Another warning sign is that you start feeling shame and guilt about all of your choices. That
is a very big one. That mental shift that Donald was talking about is huge. The victimizing yourself. And our product of the week will actually talk about it a little bit more. But that shame and guilt spiral does nothing to help your habits. I definitely indulge from time to time, as you all know, and I keep pressing forward, and I don't give too much weight or emphasis to those negative feelings because it is not helpful to suddenly just be like, oh gosh, I ate some donuts and now it's all over, and going into that shame spiral is not helpful because then you just want more of that. You want to give more into that because you're a victim. What are you going to do? You can't change it.
Yeah, another good one is that you avoid the doctor, because that weigh-in is, and you don't want the doctors, looking at you and giving you negative advice about, or actually positive advice about how you've got to get it together.
I'm going to go with a funny aside. I was actually really angry this week because I went to an annual Well Woman visit on Wednesday, and those jerks didn't weigh me. I was like, they were like, just what do you weigh? And I was like, what do you mean, what do I weigh? Like, don't you want to get on the scale? They're like, no, it's fine. And I was like, well, I'll be, the healthcare system is slipping. Like,
don't they know you only look thin?
Yeah. So when you are avoiding scales, then that is we already said that was a big one, but I was mad that they didn't weigh me. I felt like I had been cheated.
What about when you call for pizza delivery and they answer and go, hey, Catherine, you want the usual?
That is not good. When they know that you are coming by, that is definitely a telltale sign that you are maybe overindulging a little bit.
So I think that the bottom line here is that there are many, many warning signs, and that we need to be really honest with ourselves about these signs and use them as a roadmap to get us back on track. Stop lying to ourselves and do what we know that we should be doing.
So basically, if you just listen to this episode in reverse, it will tell you basically the opposite of whatever instinct you have is what you should be doing.
Yeah. Like for those Seinfeld fans out there, there's an episode where George Costanza does the opposite of all of his instincts and everything starts going right for him. So when your instincts tell you that you should be eating something because you're so stressed out, do the opposite.
Well, and two, no one has ever said, going back to my original thing about someone in our accountability group starting to post really decadent food choices. You see someone stopping going to Weight Watchers, someone not commenting in an accountability group, somebody avoiding text messages, somebody avoiding podcasts that are helpful and going and doing...
Oh, do not avoid helpful podcasts.
Do not.
That is the number one tip. That is
number one. That is our POW and our TOW and our Todd and our Canary.
Continue the helpful podcast.
But like you were listening, right? If you have gotten this far, like, bless you, because we talk a lot. But when you stop being accountable to yourself, when you stop measuring, when you stop listening, when you stop checking in, when you stop being honest with yourself, that is the danger.
Yeah.
Like, I have never in my life said, you know what? I'm just going to stop weighing myself. And I lost 30 pounds. It was magic. Like,
yeah, it doesn't work that way.
I stopped checking in with my accountability group. I started eating in secret, like, and hiding food from Donald, like, and everything started going great. Like,
yeah.
So doing the opposite of your instinct, when you are feeling vulnerable, reach out to a group, reach out to a trusted friend.
Yeah, don't hide. Actually, be public about it, or as public as you feel comfortable being, but at least, reach out to somebody that you trust, or, reach out to an accountability group, a bunch of strangers who can, help you and lift you up in these times.
Because we've all been there, and I've done it so many times, and any time that I have had, any shame or guilt about something that I've done, and I have shared it, it takes away that energy and that negativity. And so many people say, I've been there too. I did the same thing. And it sort of lets you release it, sort of like a confessional, and then you kind of move forward from it, because we carry so much shame and guilt about our choices. And when you start moving away from accountability, from measuring, from checking in, from keeping that headspace that is positive, that's when the danger comes. I don't think anyone has ever, we have so many glowing reviews and people in our accountability group who appreciate the follow-up. I don't think anybody has been like, telling people my true feelings has ruined me. Like being vulnerable is terrible. Speaking my needs and setting boundaries is awful.
No one's ever said that.
And, and for people, who live in the colder climates, sort of going back to what Donald said about the Seinfeld and the character doing the opposite of what he feels like doing and things going well. We live in Los Angeles. We don't get any of this. But if anyone has ever driven on black ice, which is a very thin sheet of frozen water on a freeway or an overpass, your instinct is to turn out of it, and you end up spinning your car and going out of control.
It's so terrible too.
It is terrible. But we panic in moments where we feel out of control. And like Donald saying, do the opposite of your instinct. What you're supposed to do when you are driving on black ice is to
turn into the spin.
You turn into the spin, and it keeps you from actually going out of control. So the idea of reaching out to an accountability group, the idea of going for the walk anyway, following the habit, getting on the scale, measuring the food, all of those things turn you back into the person that you are working on becoming, instead of spinning out of control and going back to your old habits and your old stories that have not served you.
I think that is a wonderful summation and a great time to move on to our product of the week. What do you think?
Sorry, I wanted to work in more cacaws.
Cacaw!
Isn't that what a canary sounds like?
Yeah, that's exactly what a canary sounds like. Yeah, Google
like
it,
a
people.
Screeching eagle with
you'll
flames.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so just be present. This is hard work, people. Like, we are in this with you, and we really want you to succeed. So just do the opposite of what comes naturally to you. It's been wonderful for us. So now we are going to go on to, as Donald said, POW! Product of the week.
Product of the week to you.
Product of the week to you.
It doesn't work like that.
So this product of the week is about shame and guilt.
Wow.
But
we just talked about shame and guilt not being a thing.
Well, I think this product falls into the category of knowing yourself better, and as many tips and tricks as we can give you for kind of the surface level solutions to being mindful and managing your weight, dealing with the emotional and the mental side of this has been critical for me.
Yeah, it really is. Like, following a plan and having somebody tell you exactly what to do is great, but really getting to the root cause of what was causing me to eat the way I was eating and not take care of myself. That has been the biggest part of this whole thing.
So in our accountability group in September, we decided that aside from the habit challenges that we were going to take on, we also decided as a group to do a book club. And so we are reading the book, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown, Ph.D.,
Yeah.
LMSW, which I don't know what all that is, but pretty sure PhD is good. So
yeah.
But Brené Brown wrote
Sounds
a book
good.
called The Gifts of Imperfection, where she talks about perfectionism sort of being the ruin of authenticity, because we're trying to live up to some artificial standard that we expect from society and from the people around us, and that the more we embrace our imperfection, which we are definitely embracing that.
Oh, we embrace the heck out of imperfection.
Oh, it is squeezing all the fat out of us.
Nothing but imperfection.
But it talks a lot about the mindset behind how shame and guilt about our choices really inhibit living our authentic, best self life. And that doesn't mean a perfect life, but it's been a great book. We're still reading it. I haven't gotten to the last chapter, so I can't tell you. Oh wait,
you get to the last chapter and realize that it's actually not good.
Ooh, the last sentence is, and now you're fixed forever.
Oh, the end. End of story.
So it is a short book. We will put it up on our page, but
I'll put a link to it in the show notes.
But it digs deep on topics about owning your choices, not trusting everyone with your story. Not everybody needs to know everything about you. There are people who don't deserve your story. But it is really helpful, and it's really helped with my mindset, and I've used it actually in my real American life.
Wow.
So,
as opposed to your fake life?
Yeah. No, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I just learned something, and now I'm applying it in the world.
Yeah.
So it has been really helpful. I think it's available on audiobook as well, but I am reading it because there's lots of things to underline. You can't underline words that you hear, so
I can underline them in my heart.
In your heart. So give that book a read. It is there's some real content that is good for getting rid of canaries. Or no, wait, we want the canary.
No, we want the canary.
We want the canary.
We want to recognize the canary. But speaking of real good content, you are listening to We Only Look Thin.
If you've gotten this far, congratulations.
You can find us at weonlylookthin.com.
You can find us on Instagram at weonlylookthin.
You can find us on Facebook. Just search for We Only Look Thin.
You can email us at weonlylookthin@gmail.com. Did you already say that?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
He didn't say it. I just said it.
And there's also, speaking of birds, Twitter. And you can find us there at We Only Look Thin.
Yeah, and it would really help us if you could maybe go to iTunes and rate and review us.
It would be a big help.
It really goes a long way to boosting our position on iTunes and letting other people know how inspiring we are and how thin we look but aren't emotionally.
Yeah, and if you happen to give us 5 stars, that would be great.
Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. We are here to support you, and we're just so grateful for this platform for one another, because it keeps us present too. So
yeah, for sure. One of the big things that, in maintaining this is that we have to get on microphones every week and talk about it. And if we don't practice what we're preaching, then we can't very well do this. So if you are an ornithological fan, like Donald and I are, and you see a canary that maybe it has like a little help SOS sign, like your Tweety birds, and if you're maybe looking at gooey and cheesy recipes online and need to remember that Donald and I are an inspiration. Asian. The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program.